Rob Snyder with Joshua Garcia on the line. Joshua, you are, if I have this correct, you are the son of the person arrested for the shooting that occurred Sunday afternoon at St. Elizabeth's Catholic Church in Lubbock. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And I guess the first question is, with your involvement in this case, basically a day after the shooting, you set up a GoFundMe page for the West Garza Funeral Fund, and I have to ask, what compelled you to do that?
I mean, I know the Garza family, like I said, since I was in diapers. West played for the church band, church that I attended from the time I was a kid till I graduated. And the Garza family, his mom, she was a wonderful lady. She had a big heart. His sister Dilly, she showed me my first chords on the guitar. I'm a bass player, but she got me into playing guitar. And I was in a band with his son Ryan, and for a couple of years. And I went to school and played sports with his nephews, and the Garzas are family, regardless of all the terrible stuff that's happened lately. I still consider them family. And through all the bad things that's happened, and through all the bad things that happened, I had to forgive myself for things that I was doing. I had to let go of all the hate in my heart, because I didn't even recognize myself for a little while there. It pretty much crumbled everything around me. I ruined my relationships, and it was a bad thing. I got into a physical altercation with him at his house in his neighbor's yard, and I left him in the hospital. And
you mean you mean with West Garza, physical
yes,
altercation?
With West, and I just had so much hatred. It was just crumbling me. I was a monster. I didn't recognize myself, and like I said, it ruined everything around me. And I lived with that hate for a while. From that day, I stopped talking to my mom. That was in October, and spent Thanksgiving without her, spent Christmas without her. Her birthday, I didn't call or tell her happy birthday or anything, and that was early January. And just a couple of weeks ago, I had an awakening, and I decided to give Christianity a chance. And something crazy happened one day when I was at lunch with my dad, and I knew that God was real, and He worked through me at lunch that day. And I was talking to my dad about this whole situation, that we needed to change our motives. If we're going to call ourselves Christians, and we're pointing our fingers at them, calling them not Christians, but going and beating people up and just being hypocrites.
So
that wasn't cool.
Right. So what you're basically describing is a long period of conflict between the Garcia family and the Garza family.
Right. Basically just me and my dad and Wes. We had no intentions for it to go further. Naturally it does, but it was just supposed to be between us three. And but of course it reached his brothers, sisters. It got ugly. And like I said that day, I was talking to my dad and telling him how we needed to change everything, or this hate was going to ruin us. I mean, I already had a protective order on me. I had to go to court. I had assault charges. Things that I always try to stay away from, because I'm an oil field worker, and you can't get good jobs with, records like that. So I'll always try to stay away from stuff like that. And just, man, it was just a dark, dark time. I think I was at the lowest point. Serious alcohol abuse, serious substance abuse, just, at my all-time low. And that day at lunch, I was talking to him, and for about 30 minutes that I was talking, I realized I wasn't talking. I was listening to myself talk. Someone was talking through me, and it was making sense to me, and it made sense to him. And all of a sudden, the presence actually, I know it sounds crazy, presence actually hit me. And I had a buddy sitting there. Everyone was just, watching me. It was like a 45-minute deal. And, everyone knew, there it is. Josh was saying he really, truly felt he really was seeking forgiveness, and he really gave Wes that forgiveness. And I thought I had reached to my dad. Everything was good after that. I just within the last 2 weeks got a strong bond back with my mom. Him and my mom started talking again, regularly. They would converse about, me and what was going on in life and everything, just regular stuff. Everything was going great. And I couldn't be happier, but my spirits were lifted. I no longer had any hate in my heart. I just wanted forgiveness. And I wanted to get the word out there that, I have a new purpose in life. I thought we just lived to die my whole life. I figured out that we live for a purpose, and that completely changed everything. And so I gave that forgiveness, and I thought everything was in the clear until yesterday when we got a phone call. One of their family members called my girlfriend, and they weren't very happy, saying that my dad had shot his uncle. And I was trying to pick up the pieces. I was at a Super Bowl party. It was my daughter's 7th birthday, and there was a lot to take in. And I held myself together. And my first reaction was, how was Wes? I wanted to go to the hospital. Turned out that things would get violent if I went over there, so I couldn't go there. I wanted to be there for my mom. Apparently she passed out or fainted when they told her that Wes had passed away, and I was on the phone with his nephew at that time, and my emotions were going crazy. I wanted to be there, but I couldn't be there. Things are going to get ugly, and I wanted them to feel that, that I'm not a threat when I go there. I'm not a threat to their family. And then my heart goes out to their family. I'm in a state of mourning, and there's been so many malicious acts and threats and allegations, and all that needs to stop. How many people have to die before this battle's over?
Do you think that there would be potential retaliation or any future acts of violence after this shooting?
Mom said that Wes, after, I got the assault charge with Wes, that he was constantly with his family getting them to not retaliate. So after just a physical altercation, if they were wanting to retaliate, I can only imagine if he got murdered, the retaliation that they were really craving right now. And I understand that's a natural feeling. I would be the same way if someone murdered my brother. I don't have one, but if I did, I imagine I would be in the same boat. I wouldn't want me around. That's natural. And I understand their pain and their grief and every which way that they feel about me. I understand. And there's no hard feelings there. Right. But I need them to know that I'm there. If any way I can help, I'm there.
In the 24 hours after the shooting, have you been able to visit or talk to your father at all after he turned himself in to authorities?
I talked to him twice today. He told me he was in Lubbock County because he turned himself in Levelland. He was at the Hockley County Jail. And, he told me he was in a very, very bad spot last night. That he feels like if he could wake up, that it would all be gone. I understand given the right time, under the right pressure, in the right moment, anyone is capable of anything. I'm not saying that it's okay, and I don't condone that. Sure, some people bark about it, I'll kill that person, but I mean, when it really comes down to it and you actually go through with it, that's a whole new ballgame.
Did it shock you that it happened?
I figured there was going to be something, but there was that part of me that everything was going good, and I thought I was already preparing for the worst before me and Mom and everyone became good again. I thought everything was going to be good. So, yes, there was that shock, but because I was already preparing for the worst before then, it wasn't as big of a shock for me as it was for everybody else. But also, like I said, during my awakening, my patience has grown greater. My thoughts are way more collected. And, I could have, if this would have happened 3 months ago, man, I think all hell would have broken loose. With, everyone barking threats and stuff, I would have been retaliating back, I would have been that hateful monster, and that's not what I want. That's not what needs to happen. Everything needs to be dropped because in the end, it's all about West, and West was not about that.
Right. Will you take down the GoFundMe page you've asked by the Garza family?
Yes, I actually deleted the account at 11 o'clock this morning. We've been keeping tabs on it. It recently just went down. I don't know why there was such a delay, but we deleted it at 11 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
And I posted on the SMX website, there's a thread, and or Facebook, there's a thread, and I took a screenshot from when I tried to log into it. It said that the campaign didn't exist. That's what it's been showing me since I deleted it. I can't log into it anymore, but now people are starting to look at it, and it's not there anymore.
Okay.
I don't know the reason for the delay. Like, I'm not a GoFundMe. This is the first time I've ever done it. So, but as far as that went, I had the best intentions for it, and like I said, I wanted to make it to where the Garza family had zero cost because this was a senseless act done by my family, and I feel like it's my part, not their part, to have to dig in their pockets to bury their family member. I felt it in my heart that I should be the one to just bridge the gap, make the peace, and let them see that, money and shit to me.
Right.
When it comes to something that serious, I will do whatever it takes to try and just make things easier. Losing a loved one is never an easy thing, and if it's caused by my family members and an act of insanity, I mean, I will do my best to make sure that it's as painless as possible, and that was my intentions for it. I never intended for people to be like, that's the murderer's son, why is he doing this? Well, they also don't know the backstory that, yeah, they're like family to me. That's why.
Right. Is there if members of the Garza family were listening right now, is there anything else that you would want to say to them?
Yeah, I mean, my heart's with y'all, and I'm sorry that the things are out of my control. I did my best to repent and seek forgiveness. I did my part. As far as the actions of somebody else, I can only go as far as I can to try and prevent something. But when it happens out of nowhere, it's out of my control. But I mean, I love y'all's family, and if y'all ever need anything, my number is not hard to find. And I'll be here praying, mourning the loss. And like I said, my heart goes out to the Garza family.
Well, Joshua, we're very sorry for what happened, and hope that you and both families are able to work through this.
That's my goal. I know nothing's going to happen overnight, but if I can slowly work some peace into their hearts and, you know, build a relationship, I hope we can bring good out of this. And one thing, only positive thing I can really think of right now is this man is reunited with other family members. He's reunited with his dad. He's reunited with his mom. He's in a better place. This was part of God's plan. It's sick, twisted, but, you know, just keep the faith, and we'll just try to pick up the pieces together and try to move forward. And this is specifically to Ryan, because I had a bond with Ryan more so than the rest of the guards. Man, I love you, man, and I'm so sorry that this happened. And just call me if you ever get the chance to, because I don't think I'm allowed at the funeral. So,
Right. Well, Joshua, thank you very much for your time today, and we'll note that the GoFundMe page was taken down, and again, we're sorry to hear what has happened.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all listening. You know, getting all the facts right. That's really all I wanted, because there was a lot of false news press, and I just wanted it all really straightened out.